So let me give you an idea about what we have discussed in the last session. So in the last session we were talking about pandas, right? Pandas for data analysis. So we have seen what is series, data frame, how to handle missing data with pandas, what is group by, merging, joining, concatenating. Some operations we have seen, and finally we talked about how to import different sources of data. For example, how to import a CSV file, comma separated value, right? How to import data from Excel file, and even how to read the data from HTML. The point we need to remember here is that when we talked about HTML, HTML can read only those data from the HTML page which is in the tabular form. Right, that is the limitation for pd.read_html method. So it can read only that data from a web page which is in tabular form. That means it can read the data which is in TR tags. So suppose some of you who are aware about HTML you might be knowing that we use tags to write on HTML code. So pd.read_html method is able to use only that data which is in tabular form from the HTML web page. And that's why later on you will see that we will be making use of some another package with the help of which we can read anything from HTML page or web page. And that package will be Beautiful Soap. Right. Beautiful Soap is the name of the package which can read anything from HTML page. Or the name of the package is BS4, Beautiful Soap 4. So yes, that's good option if you want to read whatever you want from HTML web page. Maybe it's a text or number or image. You can read all those things with this particular package. Okay. So in the last session, that's what we have seen all these topics, and I hope you people must have gone through the files which I have shared in the group. Right. This file, all these files I have already shared. All these are IPv4 files. Just have a look on that. Okay. And yes, the things which I am going to discuss now after this one, those are also shared with you people in the group. So suppose let's try to discuss about visualization. So there are two packages for visualization I am going to talk about. That is nothing but Matplotlib and Seaborn. It's not like that there is only Matplotlib and Seaborn. There is something called as Plotly and Coughly also. But yes, we will try to limit ourselves here also because we want to go according to the syllabus itself. Right. And yeah, many times you will see that I'll be making use of mixture of these two things for what we can say when you want to implement some model with the help of some algorithm, you will see me making use of these two packages frequently, right? But yes, remember that there are other packages also which can be used for visualization. Okay, anyway, let's start with the visualization, and let's start with this first package, that is Matplotlib. Let me repeat it once again. All these files are already shared with you. There will be some assignment for you people. I'll be sharing all those assignments later on. Okay, and yeah, you need to go through all those questions. We'll be discussing all those questions once we are done with these things. So for each and every topic, you will see there will be assignment. Okay. Anyway, let's start with this particular thing, Matplotlib concept. So let's see what is Matplotlib and how you can plot simple graphs, simple plots with the help of Matplotlib, which you can make use of for visualization. Right. So Matplotlib is actually a library which is available in Python, and which is built on top of or by taking a reference of something called as MATLAB. There is a tool actually which is called as MATLAB. This one, which is used to plot different types of plots and some graphics. So just to what you can say to make use of all the properties, all the functionalities which MATLAB provides. So for that, in Python, you have something called as Matplotlib package. Okay, so Matplotlib is the grandfather library for data visualization with Python. This is a very basic library whenever we talk about data visualization in Python. It was created by John Hunter. He created it to replicate MATLAB. I told you, MATLAB is a tool, which is a very old tool, still it is used. So just to replicate MATLAB's plotting capabilities in Python, Matplotlib has been designed. So if you happen to be familiar with MATLAB, Matplotlib will feel natural to you. Okay, even if you are not aware about MATLAB, no problem. Let's see. It's an excellent 2D and 3D graphics library for generating scientific figures. So, for example, if you want to see what is the distribution of data, you can make use of Matplotlib package. right? Whether it is standard normal distributed or not, right? If you want to check whether there is some skewness present in the data or not, you can check all those things with the help of this visualization package. So generally, it's easy to get started with simple plots with Matplotlib. It supports for custom labels and texts. It gives you great control of every element in the figure, high quality output in many formats, whether you want JPEG, GIF image, whatever you want, and very customizable in general. Right. Let me tell you, in case of Matplotlib, actually you don't have to remember anything because we have a very good help available here. What you need to know is very basic things, and just on top of that, you can actually build very good figures, very good diagrams and charts. So see, Matplotlib allows you to create reproducible figures programmatically. But here I will say that even if you do not remember the many times even you don't have to write on the programs itself. Once you understand this Matplotlib, you will see that everything is available ready-made. I will show it to you. See, let's learn how to use it. Before continuing this lecture, okay. So see, this particular thing, this is the official page of Matplotlib. So what you can do is, suppose let me show it to you. Again, as I said that these notes are already shared with you people. So yes, you will get this particular link in your notes. Those people who joined the session from laptop, they can open this particular file and then they can go and they can click on this and you will come here. So you will see that this is the official page of Matplotlib. So everything is here. Just go here, click on examples. Here you will be able to see almost all the graphs. See, suppose I want to plot any one of this. Even you can see animations also. You can plot animations with the help of Matplotlib and no need to remember anything. Because here code also you will be able to see. See, for example, if I want to plot something like this one, just click on this. Okay, now see, you got a Python code here. Complete code you got to get that kind of a graph. What you need to do is you just need to go and change the values. That's it. So let me suppose show you. So see, I copied that particular code. Now this is just an example. Oh, do not worry about the code. I will be discussing about basic things in Matplotlib. Let me run it. Let's see if packages are there. Then it's going to show us the plot. Otherwise, we need to check if it shows some error. Okay, so what it is saying is figure size. Okay. So figure size 640 by 480. We are getting this particular message because I need to add one line here. That is nothing but this one. Percentage Matplotlib space inline. I will tell you why we make use of this particular line. This line is called as magic line. It is used only in Jupyter. If you are using some another notebook, some IDE for Python programming, no need to write on this line. Because what happens is Jupyter sometimes might not be able to show you the graphs for some sizes. And that's why what we do is we try to tell it that okay, just plot the graph in line with whatever is available. I will run it once again. Now you will see the output. Now see, you are able to see the output. So this is just the example I have taken from here, right? So I showed you this particular graph, right? I said that don't worry about the code. What is this? These are nothing but the lists. It's nothing but data we have generated. I'll be explaining you how to write on all these kinds of code. But once again, I will tell you, even if you are not aware about this thing, still you will be able to plot number of charts and number of graphs. Okay, this is just an example. Let me show you one more example. See, if you go to the official page, as I said that you will be able to see some even animations also you can go and you can plot. For example, maybe if you are working in some project which is related to some mechanical domain, or cars, electrical, whatever it may be, you can plot any type of a graph. Any type of graph you can plot, and you don't have to worry about the code. So even you can go and you can plot some images also, some specific logos also. A lot of things are possible. So you can see the list is very long actually. There is a lot of graphs which are available. Something like this 3D surface plots also you can actually plot with the help of Matplotlib. And the good point about Matplotlib is that it does not take that much of time to plot all those things. That means it takes very less. For example, see this one. This is a Firefox site. I want to plot this kind of a graph, right? So what I can do is I can go and I can try to just try to see whether it's possible for it to plot the graph or not. Let me show it to you. I copied this particular code. Let me plot this particular graph here. Okay, and let's now see. You are able to see this kind of a graph. So I mean to say that this is a very good help available. If there is some latest version which is available, definitely that will be updated here. Now see, you can see this animation also. This type of animation graph also you can do, right? So yes, definitely one should explore this all these things if you really want to go with the visualizations, because visualization is very important aspect of data science, machine learning, analytics, all those things, right? So yeah, let's start with the basic things now. Okay, so this is just the example which I just wanted to make you aware that you can make use of official with official site, right? So how to import matplotlib? Now let me tell you, as we are using Anaconda's Python, so in this case you will see that matplotlib is by default available. So I will just go here and I will type import matplotlib. If it is not there, then you will have to make use of a pip install command. So import, I pressed tab button, that's why it will auto complete. See, import matplotlib dot py plot Python plot as PLT. Again, it's a standard practice. We make use of PLT variable for matplotlib. So I run it. There is no error. You can check it. It is showing the number. Now one more line. Always remember you should use make use of this particular line whenever you are using Jupyter. Percentage matplotlib space inline. If you are not using Jupyter, then no need to write on this particular line. Okay. See, line magic function. So what is it? Percentage matplotlib, it should be percentage matplotlib space inline. Okay, now it is right. So that is called as magic line. So it is necessary only for Jupyter notebook. Now let's try to see simple graphs. So this one you are aware about now, right? This particular lean space. So I am just trying to create a very simple data here. I am importing NumPy. With the help of NumPy.leanspace, I am trying to create some data set, which is starting with 0, ending at 5. So you know, lean space is nothing but linearly spaced elements. So it's going to give me 11 linearly spaced elements or numbers between 0 and 5. I am assigning it to x. Right. Suppose let me just show it. Okay. Let me show it to you. What is x? Let's see. If I go any further to show you x, you can see that total 11 numbers it has generated between 0 and 5. Lean space you are aware about. Okay. As I want x and y, I am trying to create y also. So y is equal to x raised to 2. Okay. So now we have x and we have y. Now what we can do is we can go and we can make use of matplotlib to plot the graph. Suppose I want to plot a simple graph. Plt dot I will use a command called as plot. This one. Now right, you are aware about right. Once I press dot and then press tab button, it's going to show me all the methods which are available in that particular package. So I want to plot a graph between x and y. This is my x and this is y. This is a simple graph between x and y. You can see now it's going to show me something like this, right? So yes, obviously this is not that much readable because we haven't given x label or y label or the title to this graph. So see, this is x-axis, this is y-axis. So here we can give some label or name. Here also we could have given something, and here also we actually could have given some title so that it should be readable or understandable. So yes, all those things are possible with the help of matplotlib. So if I am running this particular thing, plt.plot, right? So you can give x label and y label. Suppose I want to check plt dot x label is the command. So suppose I want to give name to the x-axis as x-axis. Similarly, you have plt.y label. So these things you are going to see again and again at the time of implementation of algorithms also. These things are going to be there. So at that time there should not be any confusion or doubt for you people, right? So x level, y level. Similarly, there is something called as pattern. plt dot plt dot pattern. So something like this I will write down. Graph x versus y and then run it. Now you can check x label is x-axis, y label is y-axis, and graph x versus y. So this is possible with the help of PLT, matplotlib. Okay. Let's move forward. Let's try to talk about basic matplotlib commands. This one we have seen. plt.show, actually I am not making use of it, but still, if I make use of it, no problem. Maybe you will need plt.show if you are using some IDs. Here as I use magic function, which I have shown you here, that magic line. So that's why I'm not making use of plt.show. But still, plt.show you can make use of it. It's just going to show you the graph or that chart. Okay. Now creating multiple plots or multi-plots on same canvas. Now what do I mean canvas? Canvas means what? Canvas means this place. So for example, in this space, so whatever the space which is available where you are able to see the graph, that is actually called as canvas. So this thing they are calling it as canvas. So this particular space. Now here you are able to see that in this canvas, I have only one graph, right? This one. But what if I want 16, 32, or 2, or 4, or 8, something like that? Yes, that's possible. So how is it possible? Let me show you. See, this particular thing, this particular area, I can divide it into number of rows and number of columns. Suppose I want two graphs, so I could have done it like this. First graph here and then second graph. That means what? That means this row I am dividing it into one row and two columns. See, this is first column, this is second column. Otherwise, I can divide it into one row and two rows and two columns. That means first graph here, second graph here, third graph here, and fourth graph here. Likewise, you can divide it into number of rows and number of columns. So according to whatever the number of graphs you need to display here. That's how we are actually going to plot multiple plots here with the help of Matplotlib. Let me show it to you. See, creating multi-plots on same canvas. I will again repeat those people who joined right now. These things are already shared with you. Your job is just to go and try out all the things and let me know if you have any difficulty. Okay? Because unless and until you do not try it out on your own, you do not sit, you do not start your machine, and unless and until you do not do hands-on things, so it is not going to make some sense. Because otherwise, these things are very easy. But yeah, important. So plt.subplot. Now what this command is doing? This command is going to divide the data, this canvas, into one row and two columns. One row and two columns, and I want to plot this first graph in the first column. So for example, here, if I go plt dot, so as a plot we have something called a subplot also. Now what I want to do is one row and two columns. I want to divide the canvas into one row and two columns, and in the first column I want which graph? So I want a graph. So plt dot plot. Here I will write down between x and y and whatever. So r dash is nothing but what red color dash line. Let me go and let me show you. See, this particular graph I got, but I got it in where? In the first column. Now, as we have given one row and two columns, so same command I can actually go and I can write down here. So I want to divide the canvas into one row and two columns, but I want to plot the next graph in the second column. So yes, that's possible now. So go here and type plt.plot. Okay, subplot is going to divide your canvas. So plt.plot, suppose I want to plot a graph between y and x, and this time I want to give some maybe, let's check whether this works or not. This is green. Now see, you are able to see two graphs. So this is how you can plot multi-plots on the canvas, or the same canvas. So subplot, plt.subplot, matplotlib.subplot is the method you should remember. Okay. Again, for that also there is a help available on official page of Matplotlib. Now Matplotlib object-oriented method. So maybe you might not be aware about object-oriented method concepts. This is a programming concept. If you have learned about basics of C or C++ or maybe basics of Python, you might have come across this one. But do not worry if you are not aware about this. Whatever is needed, I am going to tell you here. Okay. So object-oriented method means what? It is going to create the objects. Instead of calling the same method, instead of writing down the code again and again, what you can do is you can just create the object of something. Let me show it to you. See, what I am doing is, let me explain you this particular code. So here we are trying to plot a graph. See, PLT is matplotlib. Dot figure is the method which is available in matplotlib. So dot figure is just going to allow you to plot the figure. So matplotlib.figure, I am trying to create an object of figure type, and I am giving a name as fig2 or figure 2. After that, what am I doing? Axis is equal to figure dot add underscore axis. Now see, what is the 0.1, 0.1, 0.8, 0.8? So this is nothing but the distance from left side, then bottom, then width, and then height. So all these numbers should be in the range of 0 to 1. Not less than 0, not greater than 1. It should be between 0 and 1. Okay. So left bottom width and height. All these numbers are showing these things. After that, what? So here again same command. This one we have created axis is equal to, so we have given the axis, right? So how do we want to plot the axis? With all those properties. 0.1 distance from left, 0.1 distance from bottom, and 0.8 and 0.8 from width should be width and height. Then axis dot plot a graph at an x and y, and give blue color to it. Okay, that particular line, whatever it will be. And then x label, axis dot set underscore x label, y label, and title. This one I have already showed it to you. Right. So this is nothing but what? Axis dot set underscore x label. So whenever we are trying to do this kind of a thing, you need to make use of set underscore. Right. Okay, because we are trying to create figure dot add underscore axis. So that axis is an object actually. Let me show you the graph. See, this is what we are able to see. Now, what has happened here is we actually created an object. Now, this object we can make use of in some other graph. That's the use of object-oriented method. How? That we will see. So here you can see that we just run this particular graph. First of all, we created an object called as figure. Then we set all these properties. Let me show you if I go and if I try to make some changes here. Suppose what is this height? So let me check width. Suppose let me make width as 0.4 and then run it. Now you can see width is decreased. Right? Similarly, you can further go and you can decrease the width further like this. Now you can see the graph is like this. So all these points are responsible for this. Let's suppose let me make it as 0.5. Now you can see the width is this. Okay? Or let me just make it to whatever it was earlier, 0.8. Similarly, you can go and you can change the height as well. So yes, all those things are possible. You can make use of all those things as per the need. And that's how Matplotlib actually is going to allow all this. Again, this is available at the official page. Okay. Now, what are we doing is same thing we will do, right? But we will do it in this way. What if I want to have this kind of graphs? This kind of graph. See, this first code is going to give this larger figure, and the second one is going to give the smaller figure. Something like this we want to plot. So what am I going to do is instead of creating one axis, I am going to create two axes. What do I mean axis? See, whenever I say axis, that means I am talking about these things. These are the axes for larger graph. These are the axes for smaller graph. Likewise, you can go and you can have multiple graphs plotted like this. Okay. So maybe you just need to go and you need to see whether all these things are matching or not, and accordingly you can actually plot the graph. Suppose let me go here and let me show it to you. What this is going to do is it is going to plot larger graph and it is going to plot one smaller graph. Obviously, these axes should be correctly given, or you can just go and try and see whether you are getting the graph or not. Now see, here I am getting a graph here. How am I getting this smaller graph inside the larger one? See, just because of these lines. Suppose what is this left, bottom, width and height. Suppose let me change the height 0.4. Let me change it to 0.1. Suppose. Now see, you will see the change here in this smaller graph, right? Because I am doing it for axis 2, that is smaller graph. So what it was 0.4. Now you will be able to see that it is same. Suppose let me make a change here. 0.5 it is. Let me make it as 0.8. And now let's see. Now see, your graph is outside that bigger graph. Because what I have done is I increase the height. Sorry, I increase the distance from the bottom, not height actually. So distance from the bottom means what? Distance from bottom means this distance. Okay. So likewise, you can go and you can actually see by making the changes in the graph. Let's go to the next one. Subplots. Okay, so let's see subplots. Subplots actually we have already seen. So whether you want to plot 4 graphs, 16 graphs, whatever the number it may be. Now same thing we are going to do in with the help of only this particular code. See what we have done earlier. We have written figure and axis separately. Now in this code, what you can do is you can write down the code like this: figure comma axis equal to png.subplot, and then you can directly go and you can plot the graph. Command is same, dot plot, right? It is going to remain same. See, plotting the graphs is not at all difficult. Interpretation of the graph is very important. What we can understand from the graph, that's what the thing is. That's what the important thing is actually. Now what will happen because of this? See, these are nothing but what empty canvas. Empty canvas is nothing but there is no graph actually, but there is a place to plot the graph. So what are we doing here? Number of rows 1 and number of columns 2. That means 1 row and 2 columns. That means I will be able to plot 2 graphs like this. 1 row and 2 columns. So this is called as canvas. Right? So we actually divided the canvas into 1 row and 2 columns. So what is the command? plt.subplots. Number of rows 1, number of columns 2. So 1 row and 2 columns. You can think of this as a table itself. Right? See, it is just going to create the list. You can check array. This is the array actually. Access is the array. Now we can iterate through this particular array, and what we can do is we can put multiple graphs as per our need. What I am doing is I am making use of a simple for loop here. For ax in access, access is the variable which we created, and just we are trying to plot this particular graph. How many times you want to plot? Number of times this access is having number of rows and number of columns. So it has 1 row and 2 columns. That means we will be getting same graph 2 times. Because see, we are just simply making use of for loop here, and we are running this particular code. This code is going to run 2 times because access is having 2 items. That is this row, this one, and this one. 2 places rather we can say. That is 1 row and 2 columns. So what I will do is I will go and I will try to show you this particular graph. So for loop can be used to plot multiple same graph multiple times, something like this, right? So access, because access is the variable which we created. See, it is the object which we created, and what is that object? It says that number of rows is 1 and number of columns is 2. So we created it with the help of matplotlib.subplots. Okay, that's what we are getting. So we have made use of a basic Python here for loop, and with the help of that we are combining matplotlib with that. Okay. Let's see. Again, now if you want to go and if you want to plot a graph, so what is the problem? If you see here, now you can check that sometimes there might be a problem with the help of matplotlib. For example, here this y is y-axis and this x is x-axis. This x is x-axis, but the y here, if we check, the y of this particular graph is overlapping with second graph, right? So just to take care about that, matplotlib has one more method, and that is called as tight layout. So that there will be no overlap after this point. So you can check it now that overlap is removed. See, there is no overlap here. Earlier there was an overlap here, but right now, as we have used a method called as plt, that is matplotlib.tight layout, because of this now there is no overlap. So you can check it here, right? Otherwise, commands are same. The commands are the basic commands of matplotlib. Okay, so that's one thing. Now another aspects are like figure size, aspect ratio, and DPI, that is dots per inch. These are some of the fancy things which you can make use of. There is no any kind of logic involved here. Let me show you some of the things actually. Matplotlib allows the aspect ratio, dots per inch, and figure size to be specified when the figure object is created. So you can give all these things as per the need. For example, here see what I am creating. I am creating an object called as figure. Okay, so DPI is the thing, but what? It's dots per inch, pixel per inch. We are going to make use of that. See, this one. So plt dot figure size. What am I doing now? Figure size is 8,4. So width and height. Suppose I am giving, and dots per inch I am giving 100. Let me show you. This is the object I am creating. Figure object I am creating. Now I am going to make use of this particular figure object to plot the graphs. So here suppose figure axis plt.subplot, figure plot is 12,3. That means 12 width and 3 height. Okay, and I am plotting a graph here. So you will be getting something like this. Again, this command is same which we have already earlier used. Suppose if I go and if I have to change the height itself, suppose I will make it as 2, 3. Now you will see that the graph is like this, because this is nothing but what? This is the width. So if I want to increase the width like 12 as before, you can see, right? So you can make use of figure size 8,4, so whatever you want, 12, 4, whatever it is, and accordingly this is going to change. So if I want it like this, 4,4, not this one I am talking about, 3,3 suppose. Yes, you will get something like this. Okay, so yes, that kind of a thing also you can plot with the help of matplotlib. Now, as I said that you can save your figures in different formats. For example, you can save the figure in PNG format. So suppose let me show it to you. See, figure dot save figure. and name of the figure and dots per inch, whatever you want. So that's why we created this particular object. So I want to save this figure. So where this figure is going to be saved, suppose let me give some name here, something like SPP. Okay, run it. Now this is saved. Now where it is saved, it will be saved in the current working directory. What is my current working directory? This is my current working directory. So I will go to this particular path and I will check whether this particular file is created with the same name or not. So let me show you. I think this is already open. Otherwise, let me go to that particular path. So I will have to go to data visualization path and let me show it to you whether that particular file is created or not. JPG, right? SPPU.png, I think we have created. So let me go to that particular path and let's see whether it is created or not. So this one, see this one. This is the file that is created. SPP. Let me open it. So yes, this is how you can save the graph in image format, for example. Yes, it should open. Now see, this is the plot which we have. Right. So this is the image actually which is available here. Right. Yes, this is how you can save with the help of this particular command, save figure. Again, it's optional. If you want to save it in some cases, definitely you can go and you can save. Other things about Matplotlib are like legends, labels, and titles. Again, these are the fancy things. There is nothing logical here. I will directly go and I will directly show you. See, something like this you can go. You can go and you can do it. See, this one you are aware about, right? Left bottom, height and width and height. We are creating object. Something called as legend we can make use of. So what is legend actually? You will be able to see something like this. See, I am plotting two graphs, this one and this one, right? So this particular thing x square and x cube. But I do not know which one is x square and which one is x cube. So I have two values here. So obviously we are going to need a legend in that case, right? So you can make use of object name dot legend. That's it, and you'll be able to see the graph. See, and again, if you want to change the position of the legend, I hope you people have understood what is legend here. So here in this case, you can check that this is a legend. Now this can be here also, this can be here also. The legend you can put anywhere you want. We will see how to change the position of the legend in case of Matplotlib. So, but remember, object name dot legend is the command which you can make use of to have legend in our place. See, axis dot legend. So if location equal to 1, legend will be in upper right corner. If it is 2, upper left corner. 3, left corner, and so on. Suppose let me go and let me show you. Suppose if I go and if I write down location equal to 4 and then run. Now you will see that legend is here. Okay. So yes, definitely you can go and you can put it anywhere you want. So according to the figure, you can place or you can change the position of the legend. That's what that particular thing actually talks about. Setting colors, line widths, line types. Again, all these things are given in these notes. Okay, so refer all these things because there is nothing logical here. You just need to go and run the things and just understand what's happening here. So B is nothing but blue and G is nothing but the green. You will be getting this kind of a graph, right? Color with color equal to parameter. If you want to give color, you can give the color in hexadecimal value, right? So you might be knowing RGB hex code, red, green, and blue. So how to give different colors? Again, you can check it here. So you can try out with the help of different values here. Okay. Lines and markers. What I have done is I have given almost all the types of lines here. This code is like if you want to have different types of lines, you just need to copy this particular code. So here I have given all the possibilities. This is for your reference actually. Okay, so let me show you what I'm trying to talk about is. This is actually a code which I tried to combine at one place. This code is going to show you almost all the types of lines. So suppose if I run it, now see, you'll be able to see all the types of lines. Whether you want a faint line, more darker, or bigger, right? So whatever. Suppose what parameters I have used here, I used this line width and line color, line width and marker and line size and all those things, right? Marker size and all those things. Suppose let me make a change here. Let's try to talk about This one line width, suppose let me make it as 5. Let's run it. Now see, you can check that this purple line is having 5 size, that's why it's bigger. This fourth one, right? Suppose let me make it as 10. It's going to increase. So your job is just see, now it has changed. Your job is just to observe all these things, and if you need, you can make use of all the lines. As I told you, it is just a fancy thing. Okay. Then yes, control over axis appearance. How your axis you want to, how do you want to your axis to appear? Now why it is very important? Let me show you. See, what happens is, if suppose there are two graphs, and obviously you need to compare those two graphs, right? But you cannot compare those two graphs if their axes are not on the same level. And that's why what we can do is we can make use of this tight axis method, right? So here suppose what are we doing? We are doing the same thing. PLT dot subplots, figure size and all those things I am giving. First graph I am plotting, second one and third one. Okay. So here you can check in the first graph. See, all the graphs you will see that it is same. It is same. But you can check that in the first graph, what is the lower value of x-axis, y-axis? 0. What is the higher value? 140. In second graph, 0, 120. In third graph, 0, 60. So you actually have that particular control here. Here I did not give anything. By default, it has given 0 to 140 in the first graph. Okay. In the second one, I just written tight. That's what it has done. Y-axis range. Just check y-axis range. 0 to 120. And in the third, we ourselves have given the limit to y-axis. So 0 to 60. That's what we can control actually with the help of this particular method. That's what I want to show it to you. Suppose if I go here and I run it, now you can see that you'll be able to see the axis. So tight axis, custom axis. So there is a customization which is available with the help of Matplotlib. That's what I am trying to show you. I hope you people have understood. See this particular thing. Set y limit. Set tight, by default it is good with it. And if you are not giving anything, then first type of figure you are going to see. So respective code and respective code, respective code and respective figure. I hope you are able to understand from that one. Okay. So special types of plots, scatter plot. Remember, scatter plot is the plot which we are going to make use of all the times. And by default, whenever we talk about Matplotlib, by default, if you do not mention any name, there will be different options actually when you talk about. By default, it's always going to be scatter plot in case of Python. This is called a scatter plot, which is going to make use of all these numbers. X and Y are nothing but the variables, okay, which we created earlier. And yes, you have other graphs also. For example, his is nothing but histogram. Now see, I hope you people remember this one. This random is something different. Okay, this is the method which is available in Python. The random which we talked about is nothing but in NumPy. Okay, so random, there is a method which is called as random, that's also available in Python. So see this method. This is not NumPy. Okay, this is a what we can say by default method available in Python. So from random import sample. Sample is actually a method which we are importing from random package. What sample is going to do? See, range is going to do what? Range 1, 1000. It is going to generate the value from 1 to 999. Right? So sample is going to do what? Sample is going to take 100 samples from this particular range. And from where we got this sample? We got this sample from this package. That means I am just trying to generate a data where I have 100 values. And for that those 100 values, I am just trying to plot histogram. First of all, let me show you the value. See what is data now? See, all these are the 100 values. 100 random values, obviously, because it is from random method. Right? So you can check these are the 100 random values we have. Now what I am doing is I am going to plot a graph for these 100 values with them, and that graph is going to be histogram. So plt dot hist, that is histogram, and then just run it and you will be able to see this particular. So obviously we have a lot of options here. Suppose let me check if there's something called as beans. Now see, I can go and I can decrease the bean. If I make it as 10, I will be able to see something like this. If I go and if I increase the number of beans, if I make it as 100 for each and every value, it is going to plot the graph histogram. Right? See, you can check for all the 100 values it has shown. Or suppose maybe if I make it as 50 beans, you will be able to see something like this. Right? So this is nothing but histogram, what you can actually plot with the help of Matplotlib. But remember, by default, Matplotlib is going to make use of scatter plot. Scatter plot is the most common plot which we are going to make use of in visualization. Okay, and yes, similarly there is one more plot, that is matplotlib, that is box and whisker plot. Box and whisker plot is very important plot which we generally make use of. Again, let me show you a simple example for box and whisker plot. See, data is equal to, I hope you people understand this one, np.random.normal. So numpy.random, normal is nothing but it is going to give us the value from normalization, from standard normalization. Okay, so this is a method which is a numpy method. This is not a new thing actually. Okay, so I'm just trying to create a data because I need data to plot graphs. So first of all, let's see this particular, let's look at the data. So let me show you the data. So I have created a data, it's an array, you can check it. This is the array which we have created, and this array is having all the values from standard normal distribution because we are using np.random.normal method. Okay, so by default it is going to give all the values from standard normal distribution. Now let me plot a graph. plt.boxplot. Boxplot is the method which is used to plot boxplot. For which data we are plotting it? The boxplot data variable. So vertical is true. Patch artist is equal to 2. This is just a fancy thing. Let me run it. Now you'll be able to see something like this. Now, what are all these things? What is this circle? What is this orange line in between? What is this? I think you people might have come across box plot earlier, right? Can you just let me know? Do you have any idea about this kind of a plot? Do you know about it? Or I think we have discussed about it earlier also. This is called as box and whisker plot, or it is called as box plot. Remember, this is a plot which is very important. Can anyone tell me what is this line? What this line is showing actually? What it interprets? Any idea? Anyone?
Third quartile.
Third quartile? No, it's not third quartile. It's not third quartile. Definitely, it is related to quartile and percentile. I think yeah. Last time we have seen something called as describe, right? Do people remember? Data frame name not describe, something like this. Data not describe we have seen. So in that, yes, I told you about something like first quartile, second quartile, third quartile, and so on. Right? So yes, something related to that only. Yeah. So here, let me show you. And remember, after this point, always remember this. And anyway, in the last package which we are going to start, that is nothing but Seaborn package. In Seaborn package, we will be talking about in detail about this box and stuff, or which is called as box plot. So remember, this line is interpreted as quartile one. No, not quartile one. It is not quartile one. It is
Maximum value.
no minimum
Minimum
value.
value. Minimum value.
It is minimum value. That means 0%. Okay. This one shows 25%, and which is called as quartile one. This orange line, if you are able to see, this orange line, it depicts 50%. That is means quartile two. That means median. Remember all these terms, okay? Because this is what you are going to need for interpretation. And this one is called as 75 percentile, and that is nothing but quartile three, right? And this one is nothing but the maximum value, and that is nothing but 100%. I hope everyone will remember all these things. Minimum value 25 percentile, 50 percentile, 75 percentile, maximum value. And what are these circles? These circles, see, this one, these are nothing but outliers. And we already discussed outliers, right? I told you, I think I have given you an example also. What is the problem with outlier values? This is the outlier value for this data. There is no outlier in this case. Why do we care about outlier values? Because if you go and if you try to create a model, maybe a prediction model, maybe a classification model, machine learning, data science, if you try to create a model with outlier values, with such a data in which you have outlier values, you will be able to create the model successfully. But that model is going to become, what you can say, if it is going to have outlier values, then that model is going to become overfitted model. Now, what do you mean by overfitted model? Overfitted model is the model which is going to show us very good accuracy at the time of training data. That means the data which is already seen by your model. At the time of training, suppose it will give you 95% of accuracy. Right? Suppose you created a model. That model is predicting the share market prices. So yes, for training data, it is giving you 95% of accuracy. But when you go and when you try to test your model, test data or real-time data, in that case, if it is giving you 70% accuracy, 60% accuracy, that is less than whatever you have got in training. Very much less than whatever you have got in training. It means your model is actually overfitted model. And outliers is one of the main reasons of getting these kind of models. So we want a model, but our model should not be overfitted and our model should not be underfitted model. Overfitted model, underfitted model, all these terms we are going to come across when we will start with linear regression, logistic regression, support vector machine. In that case, I will be explaining in detail the mathematics involved behind this and the actual concept and the implementation of that. Right? But remember, before going for applying any algorithm on any data set, you need to make sure that there should not be any outlier value present in the data set. One more thing, what will happen because of outlier value is, see, I told you, before applying any machine learning technique or machine learning algorithm to any data set, what you need to make sure, you need to make sure that your data should be in numeric format. That is one thing. And another thing is that I told you, your data should be normally distributed. That means your data should be in standard normal distribution format. What do you mean by standard normal distribution? That means if you go and if you try to plot a graph for your data, the graph should look like this. That's a bell-shaped curve you should get. Standard normal distribution means symmetrical, right? So outlier values, if you are having in your data, obviously your data distribution will not be symmetrical. So one and the same thing. That's why it's very, very important to take care about outlier values. And box and whisker plot or box plot is the thing which is going to give you an idea about whether your data is or whether your data is having any outlier values or not. Right? Outlier values means what? Outlier values means extreme values. Right? I think we have discussed the example of employees working in my company. Right? If there is an employee like Bill Gates who is working in my company, and if I want to find out the average of salaries of all the employees, that salary of the Bill Gates is going to affect drastically to the average, right? So those kind of values are actually outlier or extreme values, and we do not want those values in your data set if you want to have a good model, right? See, everyone can develop the model. You have ready-made methods available. You just need to go and make use of some methods, pass the data. That's it. But your model should be good. If it is not giving you good results, correct results, then what's the use of the model, right? That's why in machine learning we make sure that there should not be outliers. Not in machine learning, not only in machine learning actually. Whatever you want to do, whether you want to do a prediction, whether you want to do classification, whether you want to make a decision, right? Or whether you want or risk analysis, any type of analysis you want to do, you should have a proper data. So removing the outlier values is going to give proper data. And box plot and whisker plot is one of the important plots which helps us which help us to get an idea about outlier values. Right? That's why they are very, very important. So here in this graph, suppose now we can say, as I told you, this is quartile 1, this is quartile 2, and this is quartile 3. So suppose this is what quartile 1. So quartile 1 is nothing but what 25%. That means 25% of this particular data is this particular value. So and we have already discussed what do you mean by 25 percentile. Right? That means 25 percentage of the values from the complete data are having less than or equal to this particular value. Suppose this is maybe minus 1. Let's suppose. So 25 percentage of the complete data is having less than or equal to minus 1. That is the meaning of percentile which we already discussed, right? So that's a box and whisker plot. Remember it. This is called as box and whisker plot. I told you what is the meaning of all these things. We are going to need it again and again. But as I told you, we will be discussing about this particular thing in more detail with some more examples in the next package, and that is nothing but Seaborn package. Right? So at that time, maybe it is going to become more clear if you have it out right now. Okay, so don't worry about that. We will see some more examples for macro. Okay, So let me check what happens with this artist. Let me run it. Let's see what other. Okay, so we can just remove that particular what we can say field. It's like a field. Now the box is not filled. Right? That's the only difference. What I done? I just made a patch underscore artist equal to 4. If it is true, then it is going to fill up this particular box with some color. That's the only thing. It's just a fancy thing. Okay. So I think we are done with Matplotlib. Yeah. So let me tell you once again. These things are shared with all of you. Always remember that all these links which are available, right? You can always go to these links. No need to remember anything. Just remember very basic things in Matplotlib, and you can take the help of whatever the links which I have provided in the notes, right? And let me show you. There is one more file which is present in Matplotlib notes which I have shared with you. That is exercise. Exercise is also easy. I hope you will go through that. Exercise is also given to you. Solution of the exercise is also given to you. And those who want to go and understand more about Matplotlib, they can refer this advanced Matplotlib concept also. But for machine learning part, whatever I will be discussing in the sessions, this will be sufficient for you. Right? So yes, these things are already shared with you. I hope everyone knows how to open those files. Okay. So that's what I wanted to discuss today. Maybe now you can share your numbers and names in the chat box, and we will stop here. If anyone any question, you can ask. Otherwise, we will stop here. Yeah, let me know if any question, any doubt, anything. Otherwise, you can just start sending your numbers and names in the chat box. Yes, I think those who have another session, they can drop, no problem. I think you people have some session at 12, right? That's what I came to know. So yes, once you have sent your numbers and names, you can drop, no problem. Okay, I think done, everyone. So I will stop here and I will end the meeting.